Welcome back, folks, to SBL week number 6. We got a real banger for you this week. We got Dustin versus Jdawgin13. I am joined here with a VGC veteran, AJ, and we're going to go ahead and get into our teams here. I think we're gonna take a look at what we've got to work with here. So, AJ, if you want to take it away with Dustin's team.
Yeah. So first of all, I don't know if having the spreads on there was but hopefully J-Dog isn't watching the stream. But we've got Sableye, Mandibuzz, Arbok, Dondozo, Spectre, and Comfey. Dustin has basically been building around setup for most of the league so far, and this one is a little more aggressively slanted with the AV Dozo and the Spectre. So I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Right, not even taking a turn for the setup. He's just got that immediate specs. He's got the huge bulk with Assault Vest. That should be really interesting. And I guess he's probably leaning on Comfey a lot to provide healing for Dondozo and maybe give Spectre a bit more sustain as well. One thing interesting there, do you have any insight on the Arbok bring? I think that's one of the more interesting elements to the team here.
Glare is really good into this team. We needed something to check the Lilligant, so he slapped the goggles on it, and knock off Oko's Bruxish.
Okay, so a little bit different elements there for everyone, it sounds like. And yeah, one thing that stuck out to me was that he's definitely respecting the Lilligant Sleep Powder option, because he's got the Safety Goggles Arbok and the Overcoat Mandibuzz. And then Terra Grass on Dondozo also. So he's definitely got a lot of things there to help potentially deal with some sleep strats. And I guess with that, talking about what Dustin's building around, let's take a look at J-Dog's team. Now we've got a J-Dog's been really leaning on this Bruxish as a strong support mod for his team, but it's also able to provide a lot of offensive presence. He's been running Dazzling on it most of the time to help block those priority moves. Priority's always amazing to have, so denying that from your opponent is really good. And he's been really good at utilizing things like Volt Switch with Sandy Shocks and Flip Turn with Bruxish in order to get his Sun set up without having to play any Weather War games quite as much. I think having those sort of pivots is really nice. He's got the main star for the team in Walking Wake, which just has a ton of offensive presence with really good water and dragon coverage, and then Sun Boosted Flamethrower isn't half bad either. And then he slapped a Life Orb on it too, so that thing is going to be able to hit really hard and is still going to be pretty hard to remove with the Water Dragon defensive typing. Then elsewhere on the team, we've got Grafai not repping the Sunny Day this time around. It looks like it's got some other general utility support going on, and then you've got Ninetales with the utility Shuka Berry and some kind of general fire coverage, it looks like. So it looks like J-Dog was respecting the Trick Room setup by bringing Roar, but it looks like Dustin's really going for more of like if he's doing speed control, he's running the Tailwind. So we'll see how the different team constructions kind of end up working out there.
Yeah, if we look at our speed control options, it is Scarf, Photosynthesis, and Tailwind. So Dustin, in theory, has the speed control advantage, assuming he can get it set up. The only way that Tailwind can be stopped, really, is with Prankster Taunt, but we have a Dark type with Tailwind, so that's irrelevant.
right?
I think like the X factor to watch here on Jdawg's team is the Grafai. It's immune to Shadow Ball, so you have your free Spectre switch in, and Taunt is really good, and Knockoff is really good into this team. Knocking off like the AV from this Dozo or the specs from the Spectrier, all pretty relevant.
Yeah, I think even though Grafia is not going to represent like a huge offensive threat on its own, the amount of annoying things it can do is really shows just in looking at that moveset. The Super Fang is also pretty threatening for someone like Dondozo, who is going to be really tanky, but if you're getting chunked for half of your HP by by a support mon, it's like, man, it could be a pretty rough life out there. And I guess to your point on normal types, we also see the Terra normal on Bruxish, probably respecting the Shadow Ball from Spectrier as well. So we got some interesting brings here, and I think we're just about to load into the game now. So we're gonna kick this off. I didn't actually see what Jdawg ended up bringing for his 4, so it'll be a surprise for all of us.
I think it was the top 4. I think.
Okay.
Let's see what we got for leads.
Oh, we got the Arbok. Okay. Interesting.
So, interesting thing about this lead is that Foul Play Oko's Bruxish from full. Just
that's pretty huge. And then even if Sableye wants to do something else, you do still have the option of knockoff from Arbok, but I assume that doesn't Oko.
Probably not.
Yeah, and I mean that's fair. But you at least take its scarf away and be generally annoying.
I'm assuming Arbok lives a Psychic Fangs with -1 Bruxish in play.
The -1's definitely huge, and the fact that Jdawg is opting for the Dazzling over Strongjaw also cuts into the offensive presence. Looks like Dustin's preserving the Intimidate and cycling in Mandibuzz, so if there's a Psychic Fangs in there... Oh, we went for the wave.
Yeah, that's the safer play. I think he's calling the Earth Power or the Psychic Fangs into that slot, but yeah, Jdawg correctly calling the double into the other slot.
Yeah, that was a really solid play on Jdawg's part. I see what Dustin was going for, and there was like a lot of ways that would have worked out better, but it looks like we are down 1 Sableye on Dustin's side now. I mean,
I have to guess that Spectrier probably comes in now. Probably.
Right, you've got Bruxish -1 and locked in on Wave Crash, which is nice.
Actually, this is pretty good too, right? Because you're locked into Wave Crash. You can't threaten any damage other than with T-Bolt. So you can Terra Grass here and get up Tailwind or get a Snarl off or something and just start doing damage.
Yeah,
Wave Crash probably just kills the shocks.
And that'd be pretty huge. The interesting thing here, though, is since it's Dondozo in the back, that means that we don't have Spectrier for game 1. I think that one interesting thing after I played Dustin last week is that he's definitely willing to leave Spectrier on the bench if it doesn't fit into his 4, he's not gonna force it. He's gonna do what works best for the 4. We'll see if it works out here. I think Dozo is in a pretty good position as you outlined, and it looks like he is going for. Oh no, he's Terra Mandibuzz.
Okay.
Interesting. The Terra Dragon does seem really nice here too.
Yeah,
Dozo's so bulky that I guess he's fine without Terra.
Yeah, you resist this Wave Crash, does nothing.
Yeah, that is nice. And if you get hit by an electric move here too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, wow.
That was a good call.
Yeah. So the Mandibuzz switch-in did not turn out well, but the Mandibuzz Terra really caught Jdawg off guard, it looks like. And now the Wave Crash, but it is into the Terra Sandy Shocks, so not going to be very big damage. But now we've got the Tailwind up on Dustin's side. I don't know how fast this Dondozo is, but I'd imagine if Dustin was building with Tailwind in mind, he's probably got more speed investment than if he was going Trick Room mode, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of awkward not having access to Grass Terra Blast here because you terra'd the Mandibuzz. Because
Right.
you'd want to be pointing that at both of these. But you also have Snarl to kind of wear down this Shocks anyway.
Yeah, just make it a non-issue.
Yeah.
And there's that Snarl. Yeah, that's going to be really nice. Okay,
Yeah.
Volt switching out.
That does no damage.
Yeah. At the very least, resetting the special attack drop, which could be helpful. It looks like Arbok in the back isn't going to be as helpful from an Intimidate standpoint, because all it's going to reduce is Bruxish, but the Glare could still come into play.
If he clicked Order Up into the Shock slot, this is going to do a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
into the Grafaiai. That would have been such an insane twist on things if Walking Wake got chunked by Order Up. I mean, it might have honestly even one-shot, depending on the way these guys are built. And we got that Super Fang into Dondozo, it looks like. That's going to be some pretty big damage. We'll see how the speed tiers line up, though.
Hey, gotta think that this Wake outspeeds? Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess this has to be a pretty decently fast Mandibuzz, then. The Snarl, so we got -3 on the Walking Wake. It's still a one-shot, but...
Okay, let's see what Dozo targeted, and we'll see if it's faster than this Grafaiai right now. I have no idea. Taking a Super Fang here would be kind of rough. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's a huge chunk out of there. And no Comfey in the back to provide healing. And that's
did not do very much.
Damage. Man, I think it's really going to come down to if Arbok can provide enough disruption here to give Dondozo space to bring this back. This is looking like a very difficult position right now.
Yeah, you gotta hit your gunk shots at this point to have any chance here.
And I think, is this one turn left of Tailwind?
I believe so, yeah.
So Dustin's got a little bit of time left, but not much. Oh, and the knockoff didn't quite. And now Life Orb's not going to kill. So that's -3. Oh.
It did so much damage for -3 with no Life Orb.
Yeah, jeez. Oh, and the Assault Vest is gone. Dondozo is...
I think if you knock off the Grafaiai, so it doesn't get to move, and then you order up the Walking Wake, is probably the correct turn here.
Right.
Because now you just don't have a way to beat this backline.
Yeah, because even with neutral hits, Dondozo's just so low. And then, I mean, well, I was thinking about Bruxish doing neutral hits, but Sandy Shock still has a Thunderbolt with Dondozo's name on it. And I mean, Walking Wake is now at -6 after this, right? So maybe there's a path where you ignore Walking Wake and make it through, but no, you still got
Scarf Bruxish.
Yeah. Got some yellow magic going on. I think this one's kind of chalked, but we'll see what things look like going into game number 2, most likely.
As far as game 2 adjustments go, I think it probably has to be the Spectrier.
Yeah, I think I liked the things that Dustin was showing off, but it just looks like you kind of need Spectrier and the offense from what it can show.
I think the Arbok kind of underperformed, so that's probably the one I would swap out.
Yeah.
We didn't see the Lilligant, so it kind of didn't do much.
Yeah. It's really tough, because being one of those Gen 1 mods that still hasn't gotten an evolution or anything, it's like you don't really have a great speed tier. You don't really have a lot going for you, so it can be really hard finding your way in this now Generation 9.
Yeah.
But hey, that's why it's a 5-pointer, I guess. It's still like you have to respect it because spreading around paralysis and spreading around intimidate can be really strong. It's just Jdawg's got a lot of special attackers, so he can tank some intimidates kind of without worrying too much.
I think the Mandibuzz was solid. Dozo was alright. I think that goes very differently if that turn 1 call doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, because if Sableye had been around to do more Sableye things, then that could have been a real problem. Like if it had gotten the light screen up or something like that, that could have been huge for reducing that damage output, especially from Sandy Shocks and Walking Wake. But at the same time, do you really click a light screen against a scarfed Pokemon that could just click Psychic Fangs? It was just a difficult turn to suss out.
It's a hard call to make. Although, I don't know, because with the way that play went, right, he pivoted in a Dark type, Psychic Fangs would have whiffed, so it actually wouldn't matter at all.
That's true. I guess we'll see what adjustments Dustin makes. I think that there's still some room in this team sheet to bring like a good 4. It's just a matter of finding the right 4 to deal with whatever Jdawg brings. It looks like we got
Ninetales instead of Grafaias this time. So if Dustin made the adjustment and brings the Spectre, we don't have a Ghost Divinity anymore.
Yeah, and that could be huge. Because honestly, you know, I was talking about the normal Terra on Bruxish before, but I don't know how scared I am of using the Terra on Bruxish, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so we're going for this lead. I'm a little worried about if I don't know the calc off the top of my head, but this Spectre might just drop to Wave Crash. I don't know.
Oh wow, yeah, because it's like this isn't Cali Shadow. It's actually killable. So
this Spectre does have some bulk though, so like it is maybe possible that it lives. Looks like we're flip turning.
Okay, probably flip turning, maybe bringing in the Ninetales. Oh, but we got the switch out into Arlong. That's Dozo, right?
Yeah, it looks like we're just calling the switch twice in a row.
Yeah, it looks like
because he's this was a double into Comfy if I saw the correctly. So it's a pretty similar situation to game 1 of last game. Comfy has pretty good Spadef, so maybe this won't kill, but it's gonna do a lot.
I guess I wonder if it's Photosynthesis special attack or speed. Because if it's special attack, that's scary. Oh, wait, it cut out for a second for me. Okay, now we're back.
Alright, we have to see what it is.
What we got?
It's speed.
Okay, it was speed. Yeah, so it might live. Hydro seems pretty strong.
Hydro Steam is like one of the strongest buttons you can click in this game.
Man. Poor Comfey. Just that right slot on Dustin's team turn 1 has not had a good day.
Yeah, I mean it's happened both games, right? You've had the turn 1, the switch gets called and the support gets blown up.
Right. That is
we got fake out pressure now, but
fake out pressure, rain dance pressure, light screen. There's some nice things here for the Sableye to do. But goodness, losing. You gotta be
expecting the Bruxish swap though, right? Like,
this
Ninetales is just here to set up Sun and leave. Like, what is it doing on this board? It could maybe wisp this Dozo, I guess. It's like kind of real.
Water Veil.
Oh, true. It is Water Veil. Okay, then I feel like this should be a pretty obvious play. So if I'm Dustin, I'm thinking about clicking Light Screen or maybe Foul Play or even Rain Dance, honestly.
Right. Okay, the Light Screen. So that'll force Bruxish to go for Psychic Fangs or force Dondozo or force Walking Wake to not put out as much damage. And rare footage of someone surviving Hydro Steam.
Yep.
And Rock Slide, I mean, it's nice spread damage, but it's like, man, we gotta up those numbers. This it's just really tough to get much going here when you've got all of this offensive presence on Jdawg's side.
Yeah, I mean, you can Terra here and start clicking Grass Terra Blast. That seems pretty good.
That might be the move, yeah.
The Sableye is just dying, unfortunately. There's really no way to save it.
Yeah.
You don't have any switch-ins on this team that can just swap in and take this.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Actually,
we gotta say goodbye to Sableye there.
The heads-up play there would have been to set up Rain Dance, so when you bring the Spectre out, the Walking Wake doesn't have speed.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a nice bring. But, man, and yeah, the order up just not doing enough, especially after the Terra out of the weakness. But yeah, the Rain Dance would have been nice, because then you would have at least, if nothing else, forced a switch on the Bruxish slot for to bring in the Ninetales, but I don't know, it's tough. Because either way, I don't think that we're going to be in a situation where Jdawg doesn't get to put Sun up again if he needs it. But I don't know if he's even going to need it at this point.
No, it's not going to matter.
Well, Wake chipped itself down a bit, but we did the order up into Fish Sick over here. Yeah, I mean, this is just... Now the screens are gone, and yeah, Walking Wake can just Hydro Steam to its heart's content. I mean, this is a powerful Mon that really likes having Sun up, and Jdawg's been doing a great job of kind of constructing his team so that he can enable it to do its thing.
Yeah. I think what it does is it just checks your team building really hard, right? Because it's just like, okay, here's like one of the strongest special attacks in the game. Does your team have anything that doesn't instantly drop to this?
Right, and that was an Assault Vest Mon, and it just was not able to go up against Walking Wake and Sun, you know, with the Life Orb boost. Yeah, there was a whole lot there going for Jdawg. Well, my goodness, that's definitely unfortunate on Dustin's end, because I feel like with his first half of the season, that record, it's like you kind of want to avoid any further losses if you want to like stay in the running for playoffs. It's tough. I think from Jdawg's perspective, it's like he's in a much better place after that. I think this was one of the big question marks on his schedule, because we know Dustin's experience. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of came down to that Wake's offense was just too tough to deal with.
Yeah, strangely enough, I think the old version of Dustin's team with the Obama Snow probably is a little better into this matchup. Even though, like, the team post the big trade is probably a better team, but I think the Obama Snow version, like, technically would have been better here because you threatened to, like, freeze dry the Wake.
Yeah, and like the Weather War stuff, like you wouldn't need to waste a full turn of using a weather move. You've just got the guy who does the weather. Well, we've got both of our competitors here, and we're gonna kick off a little interview. So let's we're gonna have some replays rolling, but I guess to start off, Jdawg, how you feeling about the squad? I feel like your calls turn one both games kind of gave you the momentum that you needed in this set. What were you thinking at that point?
Well, honestly, I was thinking, like, I feel like Dustin's a really skilled player, so I was kind of looking at it and I was like, what would be the optimal play? And I'm like thinking to myself, well, the optimal play would probably be to save the 2 Pokemon like Arbok and Spectre. And so just like, I think that's probably what the optimal play is. So I guess instead of doing that, I'm going to try to get rid of the support guy. And then I was kind of just hoping that Terra Water, Hydro Steam combined with Flip Turn would be enough to kill the Comfey and Sun. I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, we weren't totally sure.
Block, but
yeah, but like we were kind of like, oh, maybe if it's not special attack boost for photosynthesis, maybe it lives. But yeah, the Wake just does too much damage, man.
yeah, the Terra Water definitely made a difference offensively. I hadn't really used it like that before, but then I kind of looked at it in this matchup for this week, and I was like, honestly, Terra Water's not terrible. Still helps me with the Mammothine and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, getting rid of the fairy weakness and boosting your attack and stuff. Definitely a lot going for it there. It definitely seems like it worked out for you. Well, interesting. So you had the Lilligant in the wings, but it never actually came out. Were you did you see stuff that Dustin brought and decide that Lilligant wasn't the play, or what was the thought process there?
Well, mostly, I know I didn't run close combat strong, but Leaf Blade isn't that strong, and especially since the main point I had Leaf Blade was to deal with Dondozo. If at any point he just Terra Grass, I'd only be launching close combats, and I don't know. It just kind of felt like Lilligant and Grafaiai had a similar role, and I felt like if I wanted either of them, I'd want the Grafaiai Super Fang, because I just felt like there was so much bulk on that team that I just really needed to be able to chip it, especially if, I mean, I know I have a very special team currently, so I feel like I know that at least talking with Cyber, he had a pretty especially bulky team, and I'd have to imagine it's similar, because it makes sense. I mean, most of my guys are special with the exception of like Ruxfish and Lilligant, which they're just one Pokemon, or 2 Pokemon, and they're kind of flimsy. So
yeah, I mean, if you look at Dustin's team, there's like single screen, light screen, AV, like all the especially bulky stuff was brought, because like all you have to really care about is the Bruxish. Although I did point out at the beginning of the set on the team sheet that I thought the Grafaiai was very relevant as like the X factor in the set. It didn't end up happening, really, but the Ghost weakness plus Super Fang chunking Dozo is really relevant. Or the Ghost immunity, rather.
Well, I realized too that like offensive Grafaiai was kind of good this week, because I knew it would force Spectre into something, either a different move set or maybe a Terra or just something to deal with it. Because I wasn't sure. I know that Dustin, you had run the nasty plot set in the past, and I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know if he'll do that against me, just because if I have Grafaiai, that kind of like hard walls it. I mean, because Draining Kiss and Shadow Ball do little damage. But
yeah,
right.
I also think it's kind of hard for him to find opportunities to set up against you because you're threatening so much damage every turn. So I see why the specs was brought. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah, that definitely was scary, because I was thinking about it. I was like, I just wonder how much damage that does to me if it just like Oko certain mons, or I knew Wake wasn't gonna be able to survive very many Shadow Balls, if any. So
right,
that definitely freaked me out a bit.
How did you feel about when you saw that Bronzong wasn't brought? Were you kind of were you expecting Bronzong, or was the Roar Ninetales kind of just like a contingency in case Dustin did something with Trick Room that you weren't expecting?
Well, I kind of figured it'd be Trick Room or Tailwind.
Okay.
But my thought process was I wanted I wanted Roar just in case it was Trick Room and there was like a Mental Herb or something on it. But I was kind of thinking in my prep that it may not be that big of a deal for the Trick Room, because I was thinking, especially if you look at like my past games, a lot of people have ran Trick Room against me, and it has worked, but I feel like I've been learning that matchup a little bit. I mean, Bioplume's pretty good in Trick Room when there's no sun up, so that definitely could be a problem too. But
yeah, I'd say that Vileplume kind of carried you for for the win against Cyber the other week. So so it definitely seems like you've got things to deal with Trick Room. I thought that the Roar Tech wasn't something that I thought of immediately, but I guess in the past you have kind of shown off that you like to go for like the phasing move to deal with Trick Room setups. So I think it would have been cool to see that tech play out, but just the fact that you represented that and like you were ready for that, but then also had you were able to kind of go head to head against the Tailwind mode as well seemed pretty favorable for you.
For sure.
Well, so I guess I'm interested in. I know that earlier on in the season, you were like, you were kind of not sure about some of your guys. Do you feel like after bringing in Sandy Shocks and Lilligant that this is kind of like your final form for the team, or are you still like pondering things?
I'm still pondering one Pokemon. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I do say I really like Tusk. The problem with Tusk was it just felt like my team was way too thin, and they were both weak to the same type. And I know I still have that to an extent. Like Freeze Dry definitely is a problem for my team because it's super effective against like everybody. But I don't know. I'm happy with Sandy Shocks and Lilligant a little bit more just because it lets me play a little bit more of a balanced play style. I mean, some games I don't even bring Sun, and I just think I'm a better balanced player, and I made that mistake earlier on going for super hyper offense, and I don't know, that's just kind of what I've changed to.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. And it's like, I think we definitely saw with the team this week that even if you're not full on hyper offense, you've got plenty of damage, and it gets out there really fast. So it looks like you found a spot for your team construction that you're happier with. So that's cool to see, definitely. Well,
For
cool. Do we have anything else? Do we wanna wrap it up here, or do we have anything else to cover?
I wanted to say to Dustin, good games, and that Mandibuzz I was definitely very scared of. I thought that thing was very threatening throughout. And I think it with Snarl is a very good brain.
Yeah, the Snarl tech was definitely like controlling the special damage output, definitely. Well, I'm sorry, I see Dustin lit up, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's talking or not.
Yeah,
I know his mic gets fucked up sometimes.
Oh,
Is
drag him back in. Welcome back.
Am I actually working now?
Yes, you're working now.
Cool. I love when my mic just decides to die. It's always fun. Yeah. All I was gonna say was GG's, but like a lot of my stuff that I like made all my switches for with this team, like the Mandibuzz and the Arbok, it felt like they were fine into the team, but I really was just like, I was looking at my team, I was like, I don't think I have a way of stopping Walking Wake at all. Like I just like, this thing's gonna hit the field, and I think that's the game.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I felt like it was a tough matchup for you in that regard because one of your best ways to deal with it is like Comfey with the max priority, but that silly little fish is there not allowing you to do that. So
Yeah, I mean that was the real big thing, was because I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, I think I would have like a lot of ways of playing around just like the basic Sun, but the moment you add like Grafai and Bruxishin, it's also like, okay, how do I get around Sun while also having to like not deal with priority or the threat of, getting taunted back or anything on that side. And then like I'm also in my head like, cool, I gotta play around like Vileplume, trying to put something to sleep with Chlorophyll, or Lilligant like blowing something up in a couple turns. So I was like, I need speed control, and I didn't think Trick Room was gonna be a good option with Walking Wake and Sandy Shocks around.
for sure.
I think the only like real counterplay you had to Walking Wake that you didn't go for was just clicking Terra Grass on Dozo and spamming Terra Blast into the Terra water.
Yeah, I should have done that in game 2. In my head I'm just like, oh, I think I'm cooked regardless. That's literally just what I'm thinking, because it's like if I go to Terra Grass, I think I give myself like an extra turn, and or I try and play the game of get the Terra Grass, see if I can get the kill, but I don't think I did a lot of spreads well this week because I just had no damage. The moment Spectre was kind of gone, everything was like more bulk than damage I had available.
Yeah, it did seem really difficult because, I mean, even if you did pack more offense on it, it's like Walking Wake isn't even like, it's not even like an easy OCO. Like you still
No.
have to, you have to like calc for it, and it's like it can be really hard to remove. And yeah, when it's just blasting, even at like -3, Draco Meteor's still doing like half to Arbok. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I'm like,
that was
yeah,
pretty
the
crazy.
snarl should be like helping a lot. I'm like, oh nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team's so well put together. So it's like there's so many different threats. Like when I'm in the prep phase, where it's like, okay, well, obviously Wake Shocks, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and then you have all of the other Sun threats, and Bruxish just tops it all off. So it's like it made prepping like extremely stressful. Just like, all right, I hope this version of my team works, and
For sure.
did not end up happening.
I
Definitely.
will say in game 2 when I hit Psychic Fangs on the Dondozo and it did like a 9th, I was like, oh no. 'Cause I didn't know what was gonna happen after that because it's like that did not do any damage. It's like that's
Yeah.
not good
You just
But
have the other
having
forms
the-
of speed control.
for sure.
Having the psychic fangs to stop screens though, just like on top of everything else, is just like man, let me have something.
Yeah, for sure.
When I saw that on Team Sheet, I was like, all right, how am I doing? Everything's on the fly now. The entire game plan's gone.
Well, even even despite all of that, it's like I feel like for a debut season, you've definitely shown off that like you've got some like really really strong stuff. It's just kind of like I feel like that there have just been a few things that have like not ended up bouncing your way where it's like, well shoot, now we're now we're not looking as great. I don't know, when I was prepping for your team, there were so many things where I was like, holy crap, this is a really scary team. So I hope that that the latter half of your season ends up shaping up well, because it's like even at like a 4-loss record, it's like you can still blast through the next 4 guys and do just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a pretty hard schedule so far. I didn't even realize, like,
sure.
looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is my 4 losses. Yeah, that's. I mean, also switching the team because having like the double physical walls with like Okie Dokie, Dozo, to actually getting some more damage and better threats now. I think the team's better than what it was previously. It's just about actually having the correct matchups and kind of prepping in the right ways for the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks here.
For sure. Well, cool. I think we're this is an SBL podcast, says the ESBN channel. Well, I think that we're kind of all set here. Did anyone have anything they wanted to add before we sign off here?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, thank you folks for watching for this week number 6. Join us next week for some more SBL action. But until then, we will catch you later.
See ya.
Yeah.